Hi there. I decided to do a vlog about sleep because I know a lot of people have been asking Heidi Markoff about how to get their babies to sleep and talking about problems, and Heidi keeps asking me to help give my input because I had such great experience with sleep training my son Jeremy. Now, we initially started trying to sleep train him when he was 4 months old, following the book The Sleep Easy Guide for Exhausted Parents, and it would work for like a week and then it would stop working. And it was really frustrating. And that was a modified cry out where you wait 5 minutes, then go in and offer comfort, then 10, then 15. It said not to touch the baby. And that just seemed to upset him even more. And so it would always quit and not give up. And our son was the child who would take over an hour to fall asleep. And then a couple hours later, he'd be up crying and screaming no matter what you did. And it would take forever to go back to sleep. So we were extremely exhausted until we finally figured out something that worked for us. We were snapping at each other because we were so tired. I was always sick to my stomach because I was so exhausted. So I've been there. I totally get it. And now my son is a completely different baby because he's a better sleeper. He actually sleeps about 11 hours at night now, which he definitely didn't do before. And that's 11 hours of uninterrupted sleep. So here's what we did. We actually hired a sleep consultant. Her name is Pam Neese, and she really helped us. It does seem like a lot of money. It is, but we used a Christmas bonus to pay for it because it was just something we needed. After trying methods of just straight up cry it out, of a method from a book, nothing was working. We didn't have answers, and we needed him to sleep because we were so freaking tired. And the great thing about her was that if we had any questions, any issues, we could talk to her, and she helped us. And, for example, when holidays come up, what do? She told us. She gave us the tools for when different things come up, even after we're done with her. Even with teething and illness, he remained a good sleeper. So I'm going to give you some tips on sleep that really work. Number 1 is you need a predictable bedtime routine. For us, that means that half an hour before bedtime, our son gets a bath. Then we wrap him in his towel afterwards and bring him into his room. That's where we actually put a diaper on him. We put lotion on him, pajamas. Then after that, he gets a bottle. After his bottle, we read him a story. Then he gets a song. And then he gets put down in his crib, wide awake. That's really important. Once they're, I believe, 4 months old, you want them to go down wide awake, not drowsy. Because he needs to be able to get himself even to the drowsy state to fall asleep. He also gets what's called a lovey. A lovey can be a small stuffed animal, a very small blankie, whatever. And it's like a transitional object to help your child. And the way your child gets attached is you include the lovey in the nighttime routine when you first start the sleep training. Like the lovey will you might have the lovey read the story to your child. You might have the lovey snuggle your child, whatever, through the whole routine. And now he loves it. He cuddles his lovey, which we named Gregory. It's a little monkey. And he cuddles with him at night. In the morning, he wakes up talking to him. It's fantastic. So predictable bedtime routine around the same time every night is really important. Believe it or not, babies do better with an earlier bedtime, generally between around 7:30. I know it seems really silly, but they actually sleep more, believe it or not. He actually sleeps until about 6:30, and he goes to bed at 7. It's what a lot of babies actually really need, because it's just the way they're programmed. And it's so important to follow what your babies need, not what works for you. And I find that is actually great because when he goes to bed, my husband and I have the whole evening together to do whatever we need to do. The third thing is that for night, both bedtime and nap time, the room should be dark, like cave-like. Because everyone, babies and adults, sleep better in a dark room. And that's what we do. We make it dark. You can get blackout curtains, which we have. Obviously turn the lights out, whatever it takes to make it dark. Another thing that's really important is filling him up as much as possible before bed. We give him a full 8.5-ounce bottle. He actually drinks a lot less, not during the day, but he always gets that. And he also has dinner now because he is almost 10 months old. But right before bed, when he has his bottle, he drinks that full 8.5 ounces. His belly is really, really full, so there's no waking up out of hunger. Another thing that we found is important is not giving him a pacifier for bedtime. When we started sleep training, we took the pacifier away because he needed to learn to rely on himself to self-soothe. And with a lot of babies, including the way he was, when the pacifier came out, the parent has to replace it. And that isn't good. And when the pacifier comes out, they're going to wake up and look for it. And because everybody has partial awakenings during the night, they're going to wake up and look for it. And that's going to frustrate them when they realize they don't have it. Because when they fall asleep with it, they need to go back to sleep. Anything external that they fell asleep with is something they need. The Levy's easy because they can grab it themselves. But something like a pacifier, a bottle, if they fall asleep with those things, that's what they expect when they wake back up. And then I think what's really most important is consistency. Really, if you have certain bedtime rules, follow them. For example, our rules for bedtime, include the fact that he stays in his crib. I mean, unless he is becomes really sick, like when he had bronchiolitis and he was extremely sick, yes, then we picked him up and cuddled him and did what we had to do. But other than that, we follow the rules. He goes to bed, he gets put down, he does not get picked up. And every once in a while, he might have a night where he's a little off the wall, he's a little extra tired. So yes, he cries more when he's tired, because he normally doesn't cry. And then, we might pat his belly, say it's okay, go to sleep, and we leave. We stick to the rules that we set. So if you decide that you're going to do a modified cried out going in at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, stick to those times. If you decide you're going to do what we did, which was where we stayed in the room with him when we were sleep training him the whole time, and offering periodic comfort and phasing ourselves out of the room, and you have certain rules as far as how much comfort or whatever, stick to that. Because if you suddenly give in and pick your child up after a amount of crying, all you are doing is teaching your child that if they cry harder and louder, that you will pick them up. So they learn to do that. You program them to cry more. I know it's easier said than done, but in the long run, it does help. Now, I don't feel that what we did was cried out because we started out in the room with him. We still offered him comfort. We were next to the crib. But we did have to let him cry because he was frustrated because we were changing things on him. And I think it's so important that your child goes down awake so they learn to put themselves to sleep. Now he doesn't cry unless he's overtired for some reason when he goes to bed. He doesn't cry. He is the world's happiest baby, actually. He lays down and he talks and giggles to his Levy until he falls asleep. And it's wonderful. And I definitely would not change that for the world. I love that he can go to bed on his own. And yes, some people will say, oh, but with babies, they're only baby for so long, you should enjoy all the snuggles while you can. The way I see it, they learn these sleep habits young. And if they learn to get rocked to sleep nonstop, when they wake up, they're going to need to rock them back to sleep. And not only that, but they still won't have the skills to fall asleep on their own. And that is what creates sleep problems that we even have as adults, when we have those sleep props that we cannot get to sleep without. So, I hope my information helped. If you want me to do another vlog with more info, let me know. I would be glad to help you out any way I can. I just wanted to give you some information of what I think is important. Like I said, the consistent bedtime, the predictable routine that's about 30 minutes, no pacifier, etc. All right, bye.